program activated.
Attention everyone, the unpleasant noise you are about to hear coming from your radio is not a mistake.
Okay, first things first, what is your name?
This is Big Sonny playing the best of the 90s and beyond.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah. Radio in motion.
Please do not turn off your radio, but turn up the volume on your receiver as high as it can go.
All right, here we go.
Radio in motion.
Ricky Lee with Point of No Return, all part of tonight's Tuesday night party on Radio in Motion. Right now, we're going to have another installment of The Ugly Truth. The truth can be ugly, but it can set you free. Tonight, I'm thinking about the world of politicians and lies, and I'm throwing Elon Musk in there. I'm sure even if you're not keeping up with anything political, I'm sure you've heard by now, Elon Musk is certainly someone that's, he's shaking up the world he's in, whether it's Tesla cars, whether it's rockets in outer space, whether it's investments, whether it's Twitter or now X. Again, people have their opinions about big business or politicians. I'm, always revolving around, especially when I'm talking on this show. It's about the truth. It's about the facts. And the facts are, Elon Musk is still a businessman, so he goes where the money winds take him. But having said that, I must say, he's done some interesting things. He's made some interesting moves, and especially with Twitter, I dare say, no matter what side you are on, unfortunately, politics tend to creep into your life. But the fact is even on Twitter, since he's taken over, you have to admit, I find that there are more open discussions on both sides of the aisle. And I think that's interesting, because that's the whole point of what I thought Twitter is. That's why I was always interested in that platform, because it was like the town square. And when you say a phrase like freedom of speech, it gets thrown around. But the truth is it's a double-edged sword. You either believe in it or you don't. And if the platform is supposed to allow everyone to have a voice, then if something is said that someone doesn't like, well, who monitors that? And do you monitor it in general? The point is, it used to be very heavily monitored, and it's no secret. It was very heavily monitored by the U.S. government. That's just a fact. I'm not a conspiracy theory nut. As I say, anything I talk about or anything you read or hear in life, by all means, research it for yourself. You find the facts for yourself. Be your own fact checker. But the fact is yes, it was heavily censored. And whether you think, they're trying to keep the bad content out or harmful content, but who are you to say that? Who are you to decide? So anyway, I'll get to Elon Musk a bit later, but in general, you can see that he's someone who is an influencer, and he's using big money to do it. Look, he could be a guy who's just sitting at the beach doing nothing. He could just let his money make its own money. That's a fact. Once you make that much money, you don't have to do anything. Your money makes its own money. But he is investing and reinvesting. He's using his own money. So I'm just putting that out there once I get to him. Nobody's perfect, but again, he's an interesting character. But I want to start off with lies, just in general. Lies. Lies are a natural defense for humans. By the way, I'm not saying you should feel proud, but you should be proud that it's part of the evolution of your very intelligent brain. The fact is lying is a defense mechanism, and I'm not saying it's a good thing. Each situation is different. More than likely, it will lead down to the path of somewhere it's going to bite you in the bum. But essentially, it is a defense, and it's a clever one. You got to admit, humans are clever. One of the funniest stories I always hear when people say, "Well, children don't lie. They're very honest. They're very truthful." Yes, a child will tell you if you have a big zit on your nose. In that way, they're very honest. If a child points at you and says, "You're ugly," I don't want to be mean, but you should probably just look at some things in your life and see if there's something you can do about that. Maybe just your hair or something. Honesty in that realm, yes. But when it comes to protecting themselves, like all humans, like all evolved wild animals that we are, we lie. The kid with the last piece of chocolate cake. I told you not to eat the chocolate cake. You come down, the chocolate cake's gone. You see the kid, they actually have chocolate on their mouth. Did you eat the last piece of chocolate cake? 100%. I don't care. The kid's going to say, no. And then they double down. They'll create elaborate stories, even if there's evidence. Nope, it wasn't me. It couldn't have been me. It must have been someone else. So again, that's a child. We hope that parents instill in them what are the dark sides of lying. Because it comes naturally, you forgive it a bit, especially like you forgive anything with children. They're still on their journey. They're just starting their journey. You're there to shape their minds. Parenting is a very important job. You are shaping a future human who's going to be in society. But the thing is it's when adults don't learn it. And I'm not just talking about in your normal life. I'm talking about when someone gets into situations where their job affects other people. I don't think doctors should lie. I hope they don't. We all trust them, I would hope they take those oaths to be true. Anyone who in any medical situation has your life in their hands, I would hope they're giving you the facts based on empirical, mathematical, scientific, biological evidence. You hope that. But then, yes, you say something like politicians lie, and everyone laughs because we just know they do. But why do we do that? Isn't that sad? Or at least can we find a line where they don't lie as bad as they do? I'm just saying, I feel like politicians lie so much more now, and we just accept it. And the funny thing is they lie so much, they make you feel like you maybe made the mistake. I've seen people who are maybe, they're fact checking, and they bring up the facts, they bring up evidence, they show the evidence. It's been investigated, like in a court of law in front of a judge and a jury of your peers. Isn't that how that works? You show your evidence. But these days, I tell you, it's really all out the window. It's pointless. You can talk about facts. You can show the facts. Hell, you could show a video of someone doing something and you show it to that person. And it seems like if it's anyone in politics, all the way up high to the upper echelons to the White House, they just bold-faced lie right in your face with a total straight face. That's getting into the realm of sociopath, if you ask me. Talk to any cop. When someone can lie with such low affect, that's getting dangerous. So that's the thing that I want to talk about. Lies, it's a natural thing, but you're supposed to evolve out of that and learn integrity and respect and do the right things. Yeah, okay, I'm not that naive. Not everybody does. We live in a world of sinners. But with politics, it always cracks me up, especially in any democratic society, whether it's Australia or America or the UK. You elect those people to speak for you. You do realize that's the point. You elect those people because your voice isn't big enough as much as you try. And believe me, our voices are getting bigger. That's what I love about Twitter and YouTube and anything like that. Podcasts. The voices of the people. I don't want to sound like a revolutionist, but the voices are getting a platform, and it's an exciting time. I don't know why I'm using my thumbs. If you can see me, I don't know what I'm doing there. It's an exciting time. So that's the other thing too. Politicians live in a world where they can't hide, but they still are. So they're not hiding now; they're hiding in plain sight. So they just lie. They double down on the lies. It's a crack up, no matter what it is. If it's about war, if it's about money or COVID, when facts are presented by multiple people. And people who don't have a stake in the game, just unbiased reporters. By the way, actual reporters. Sorry, not mainstream reporters. Sorry, that's a whole other podcast that I've done, and I'm sure I'll do more. Mainstream media, they're bought and sold by the advertisers. I mean an actual journalist, someone who has nothing to lose. People who find facts, which is what journalists are supposed to do, I thought, to find the truth. When they present facts, politicians still lie. Now, I am going to talk about Biden, and it's funny, if you talk about one person in politics, and if they're on one side, then I must be for Trump because I'm talking about Biden. you know what? I'm not for Biden. I'm not for Trump. I'm not for Elon Musk. I'm not for any of them. They live in a world that's far beyond any of us, and I really could give a crap. But I'm just interested in the facts. So if you're a Biden fanatic, if you're a Trump fanatic, I say don't be fanatical. Don't be a super fan. That's lame. If you support someone that you believe in what they do, that's good. Do that. Don't be a super fan of either of them, because as much as both of them have done good things, both of them also have done asinine things. Let's be honest. So, but again, you do know that when you hear Trump, everyone seems to jump on him. Well, that's fine, just as long as we spread that out evenly. If you find someone's done something wrong, and it happens to be the president, or it happens to be Trump, or it has to be someone who's running for president, they're going for a pretty important job, so their lives are under scrutiny, and that's a fact. Can't hide that. Neither can they. So I'm going to talk about Biden, and it's another thing. Money is a factor here. I personally worry about politicians who made money while they're a politician. I'm just saying it's a bit odd. I'm not saying that just because someone like Trump has his own money, he's automatically more trustworthy. Of course not. But it worries me, especially, and you can fact check it, look these things up yourself. The Biden family has become rich during the time while they're in politics. And not to be mean, they have official companies, but they produce nothing. They do nothing. They produce nothing for anybody, yet they still make money. Now, in your life, that'd be pretty awesome. I'd love to have a company that made money, and I didn't have to produce anything. Hey, the ultimate business model. Well, that's not how that works. So why does that work for them? So that does worry me right there, when a politician makes money while they've been a politician. And you have to wonder about that. And one of the things, and I'm sure you've heard about this, his son Hunter, there was the laptop, and they found it. And this has gone beyond the laptop. Since then, they have proven, they have actual facts, they have checks, they have money transfers. And one of the biggest ones, while Joe Biden was still vice president, received a $40,000 check that was supposedly a personal loan, but there was no paperwork or any documentation whatsoever from anyone. It was just money that exchanged hands for nothing. Again, if that's in your personal life, whatever, cash under the table, that's between you and the government. But when you're the vice president of the United States, that gets into the world of influence. You can't do that. You can't take money and not give someone back, like a car. You can't produce something. What are you producing? What are you giving? You're selling influence. So again, you're like, oh, that's conspiracy theory. You're just going nuts. So when that happened, again, if you don't know this, I'm telling you the facts. Look it up yourself. After that $40,000 check, a week later, they got $5 million, the Hunter, the Joe Biden and Hunter family company, $5 million from the Chinese. That's a lot of money. Okay, you could say, oh, maybe they do investments and stuff. Well, their company, Hudson West LCC, they have no current investments. They produce nothing. They have no products. They don't make cars. At least Elon Musk makes cars. They do nothing. They produce nothing. They give nothing of value. But they get money and they earn money. Those are the facts. That doesn't worry anyone. That doesn't stop and just not want that kind of person who obviously has no integrity to be in those positions of power. I'm sorry. I hate to be the one that says it always comes down to money. It always comes back to money, but it does. Money is the root of all evil, and it'll. We all need it. That doesn't make it bad. We all need it. Yes, it can make your life better. But when money starts to get this big in positions of power, you start getting into trouble. So, again, that's why I'm talking about the Biden family making all this money and producing nothing with their companies. And after that, Hunter Biden started moving the money around. They've got all the offshore accounts. And all these things raised, of course they raise red flags. And that's the funny thing. At the time, the FBI and the CIA knew all about this. They were flagging it as this is a problem. But they all pushed it under the table. And again, you're thinking, this is nothing new. Why are you telling us this stuff? That's what the government does. Why do you accept that? Why do we accept that? Why do we accept that the politicians are that corrupt? That's too corrupt. There's a line. That's too corrupt. Any bribery is wrong, but this is like on the face of it, it's horrible. And, just to supplement his son's drug habits and hookers. And I'm not being mean. That's also true as well. Who has no real job and also produces nothing. So, again, when a family like that gets into power and they make money during that, that politicians are just civil servants. Your local mayor of a town or something, they might have a nice car, but they're not rolling in it. They're just civil servants. They're like a police officer. They work for the government. When you make money this big, it's a worry. Again, I'm not saying you put someone in a position of power who already has his or her own money, that nothing will happen. No, I'm not saying that, but at least that's not what's driving them. They're not in there to make money. If they are, well, then the whole thing's completely going to fall apart. But again, these people are elected. They're elected to work for you. And if they're in there to make money, big money, by selling influence, everyone knows that's the one thing. That's the one thing you shouldn't do. It really is. That's the total corrupt thing. And I'm sure it's been happening since the beginning of time. I'm not naive, but I'm just saying we accept it so much. We accept lies so much these days. We're used to it. And that's sad. We shouldn't be used to it. So I'm moving on to that, to a sort of a different beast. Elon Musk, he's not into politics, not yet, but he is in a huge position of influence, just like Zuckerberg or anyone else in that world. And he has branched out, and branching out when he bought Twitter. So now you think, so he has influence in that world. I'm still backing him in this one way. I feel like he does want to keep it an honest and open forum for everybody, which is tough because that means when you put something out there, someone puts a statement that's the exact opposite, and you both have to live with it. Well, why don't you have a discussion? That's my favorite thing in the world. In America, you can put your hand to your chest and pledge allegiance to the flag, and the guy right next to you will be burning the flag. They both live in the same country that allows you to do that. You think that's nuts, but that's actually an amazing thing. And those people should both have a chat as to why they're doing that, and maybe they can help each other come to a middle ground. I used to believe in the phrase only solutions, when that one's really naive, and I've changed to now there's only trade-offs. I'm sorry to be a bit bleak, but I do believe that is the world we live in. There's only trade-offs. So at least find the trade-offs. Don't be so polarized on each end. So, and Elon Musk, I'm going to talk about, I don't know if you've seen in the news, probably. He was at one of the sort of the World Economic Forum things where all the rich people meet and they talk about being rich. And the question was asked, how does he feel about advertisers backing out because of something he posted on Twitter? And this was something about the war. And you know what? Israel and Palestine and Gaza, whichever side you're on, if you're not there, if you don't have family there, if you're not personally involved, this fight's been going on for a millennia. If you're not personally invested, I say stay out of it. It's not your fight. All you can do is support, hopefully, that innocent people don't die and innocent children don't die. Is that a terrible statement? I'm not picking a side, but I'm just saying, let's just be on the side of humanity and innocence and kids and things like that. So Elon Musk, maybe he takes the wrong side. I'm not going to get too deep into it. You can look it up. But obviously, he offended someone by taking a side. First of all, if you own a social media platform and you're a bazillionaire, you should stay off it. That's my advice to Elon. He should stay off it. Once in a while, tweet something funny. Oh, my hair's sticking up. Oh, I'm in my Cybertruck. That's the limit of it, dude. You should stay off your own platform. Trump's like that too. He's just as bad. Some of these people need handlers to tell them, you need to, PR handlers. You need to slow your roll. But he can't help it. He's always on Twitter. So whatever he did, whether it was for Israel or for Palestine, I'm pretty sure it was something that was deemed pro-Palestine, and so therefore he was anti-Semite. I'm not getting into that. Again, I'm saying, if you're not directly related to that, you really shouldn't even pick a side because it's none of your business. But he did, and advertisers who have already picked a side said, well, we're going to pull out. We're going to pull out of our advertising for Twitter. And his thing was, now, have you ever heard of FU money? I'm not going to say the word. I'm sure you can infer the rest. FU money is when you have enough money to say that to people. And I'm sure it feels good. I'd like to be there one day. Well, let me tell you what. Elon Musk actually has FU money. Not only did he imply it, he said it. They asked him the question. He said, if you're going to blackmail me with advertising, if you're going to blackmail me with money, he said, go F yourself. I'm just saying, that's a mic drop moment. And on its face value, that does sound pretty awesome. It would be awesome to be able to own something and not be beholden to someone else, an investor or an advertiser in some way, to be able to say, go F yourself. Okay, that's pretty exciting. Also, that is pretty unheard of in that the big boys club, the big money club, because it is. Even when they all speak to us, the regular laymen's, the regular people, they like to tell you that they've picked a side, that they're on your side. They're only on one side. That's their side and the pocketbook and the big money. That's the side they're on. So Elon is a bit of an outlier in that way that he would say something like this. Also, some of it directed towards Disney and Bob Iger, who, by the way, are failing miserably. Going woke and going broke is absolutely going to be on that company's epitaph. Again, I'm just on the outskirts of this. I don't want to get too deep. I'm just telling you the basics of when someone, threatened Elon Musk, one of the richest men in the world, with money. He was able to say, I don't care, walk away. But let's go into a little bit deeper before I wrap this up. Here's the thing, though, with Elon Musk. He goes where the money wind takes him. And just because he said that, don't think that afterwards he didn't send someone a text and say, I was just having a bit of a joke, don't worry. Remember, also, he had just gone to Israel and did kind of a whole, I'm so sorry for that tour. Look that up, too, if you don't believe me. He went over there, he paid his dues after he did what he did on Twitter. So just so you know, even though sometimes he looks like he's fighting for the people, he's also on the side of playing both sides, okay? He's being smart. And when he says F you to the advertisers, I'm pretty sure somewhere else he's just made a deal with someone else. Again, I'm not after Elon Musk. This is about the facts, okay? This is about the ugly truth, and the truth is ugly. Elon Musk is also one of those that gets so many investments from the military-industrial complex. If you've never heard about that, look that up. If you think the military just goes to war, they don't go to war. They have a piece of everything. It's big money. They have clothing and food and products and planes and metal, and everything you see is probably all intertwined with that military-industrial complex. And Elon Musk is well embedded in that too. So I guess, you're thinking, well, Sonny, you're not really taking anyone's side. I'm not. I'm just pointing out some of the truths, and that we probably are going to have to walk away with taking what we can from this. Like I say, there aren't any solutions, but there are trade-offs. So, what's the moral of this story? I think it's that in any situation, even if it's war, I say follow the money. Sorry, 9 times out of 10, it's money. I could say this. Again, you fact-check this yourself. I think this was in 1999, BG, British Gas. Just so you know, on the Gaza Strip, there's oil and gas reserves there. I'll leave that with you. If you can't figure that out, I can't help you. There are huge oil and gas reserves in Gaza. Okay? Irrespective of anything that is religious or genocide or anything that's too heavy for this kind of discussion, beyond all of that, why is the USA interested? Money. Sorry, again, these are facts. I think it was about 20 nautical miles off the coast. They found 1 trillion cubic feet of natural gas just alone. So I'm just saying, whether we're trying to go solar or climate change, all of these things, they're going to take time. And in the meantime, we need things like petrol and natural gas. And guess what? It's big money. And if you found a whole heap of it underground, someone's going to fight you for it. Someone's going to want to come dig it up and drill it up. That's a fact. So again, I'm just throwing that out there, that whatever you think about what's going on when it comes to war in the Ukraine, war in Israel, there are the core issues that have been going on longer than any of you have been alive. But just so you know, why did it come around now? Well, there's oil and gas there, okay? There's big money. And so, again, what's my takeaway? Politicians lie to the point where it's just not even funny anymore. It's insulting. It's beyond insulting. There's no line. And you have to try and pick and choose who you want to back and who you think speaks for you. By the way, again, no billionaire, trillionaire speaks for you, really. But you can at least try to take the wins where you can get them. So, I don't know. I don't know where I'm at with any of this. I just know that I'm hoping for a change. I'm hoping for accountability. Maybe I'm naive there. Maybe we'll never have accountability. But I think it's the least we can hope for. And I do think, I'm not saying Elon Musk came out the winner here, but he is interesting in the things he is seemingly trying to do on the surface. And social media platforms, they're an important thing. They're powerful in their influence. And yes, sometimes the wrong people can be on there. But again, I put this out to you. Wrong according to who? And no, by the way, someone pointed out, so you're saying, so you want it to be a totally free platform, so someone's going to stream a live murder. Okay, that's ridiculous. Let's start with the basics here. I think if you don't know right and wrong, then you do have a problem. No one would ever condone something in someone harming another human in any way, or anyone influencing another to try and harm a human in any way. That is wrong. Anything like that is horrid, or anything harming children, anything that you just know in your cerebral, intelligent brain, that's wrong. If you think that, you're an idiot. I'm talking about politics and ideologies. Everyone has their passions and sides, and they all bring all their facts to the table. I say, bring them all. Have those discussions. Bring all your facts. Bring all your truth. And have a discussion. Both of you have a discussion. On the left, on the right, on the middle, up, down. I don't care. If you come with respect to have a chat with that other person, you've already won. You can both walk away, hopefully having learned something. And that's all I ever want to do. Those are my favorite conversations. And that's what I hope you get from these. So that's what I consider an open forum. That's what I consider freedom of speech. To have an open conversation. To not shut someone else down. Simple as that. Anyway, that's the ugly truth for tonight. I hope you enjoyed. And tonight we're going to continue our Tuesday night party on Radio Motion. You're listening to Summer Radio 99.3 FM. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.